Good afternoon, everyone. Please note that this webinar is offering a live translation from English to Turkish, where you can follow the display steps to avail of these options. So you can just go on your setting and you can find the options where you can select the German Turkish for the Turkish language. It's easy steps. You can mute the main speaker and you can hear the webinar translated to Turkish language. Our esteemed speakers, distinguished guests, welcome, and I hope are all well. My name is Samer Mary from the marketing team at DMCC, and it's my privilege and pleasure on behalf of DMCC to welcome you today to DMCC Made for Trade Live Turkey in Focus, in partnership with Turkish Business Council, Dubai and Northern Emirates. Made for Trade Live is an exciting opportunity providing insightful and exclusive information on how you can grow your business in Dubai and beyond. In case you have any question during the webinar, please use the Q&A tab to raise them, and we will answer them in our Q&A session at the end of the webinar. This session is being recorded and a copy will be shared post-event. Once again, I would like to inform you that the translation option from English to Turkish is available following the steps displayed. Without any further delay, I would like to welcome our Executive Director of Commodities and Financial Services, Sanjeev Dutta, for his opening remarks. Sanjeev, over to you.
Thank you, Samer. And thank you, ladies and gentlemen, a very good afternoon. Thank you for joining. We've, as a team, been very fortunate to travel the world for these widely acclaimed Made for Trade live roadshows, talking to people like yourselves about the benefits of doing business in Dubai. All these roadshows have typically been in person, but what's different over the last 3 months that we've been to several corners around the world is the fact that we've had to move these roadshows online. This is one of the several that we've done, received very positive feedback, where we've managed to communicate online, but it has taken a bit of adjustment, but the message typically remains the same. Dubai is a city of unparalleled opportunity for a variety of reasons, which we as a team will discuss with you shortly. And DMCC is your gateway to growth. It is brilliant to be speaking to the business community from Turkey, albeit online, and use the opportunity to walk you through step by step of how to set up business in DMCC and what you can expect from having a satellite office in one of the most exciting cities in the world, situated at the crossroads of East and West, North and South, a center pot of trade where demand meets supply. Now, very quickly, what is DMCC? I mean, my colleagues will take you through a presentation shortly, but the next hour will be very exciting to spend with a Government of Dubai authority that was established in 2002 to attract, enable, and promote trade to the Emirate of Dubai. We are an attractive contributor to Dubai's economy and diversification plan as well. Over the years, we've attracted over 17,000 member companies and counting to our member business district. And together, we contribute to some 10% of Dubai's GDP. Our free zone offers world-class infrastructure and state-of-the-art business facilities alongside a wide range of products and services that create a perfect ecosystem for businesses and therefore our members to succeed. And that is our key mantra. Our relationship with our members start the day they're set up as opposed to ending that day. We've attracted and continue to attract businesses of all sizes to our free zone, from startups to SMEs to large corporates as well. Dubai, with its strategic geographic location, is perfectly positioned to offer companies across the globe a gateway into the largest markets in the Middle East and the West. The good thing is, because of all this hard work, DMCC has been awarded the Best Global Free Zone of the Year by the Financial Times FDI magazine for 5 years in a row. We also actively facilitate trade of commodities through the Emirate with tea, coffee, precious metals, stones, topping the list. And that's something we will discuss during the presentation, which my colleague will make in a little while from now. It's not unfair to say that at DMCC, we are constantly looking into expanding our community and commodity offerings and tapping into new and international markets. Now, before I hand over and we move into the next stage, there's some key connotations which I would like you to remember and resonate with over the next 1 hour. Digital and innovation. These are the key pillars of our strategy. Now, clearly, digital has driven us into a new format for the webinar, and innovation where change is the only constant for us. I've talked about made for trade. So DMCC resonates with made for trade and made for sustainable trade for the commodities we take ownership for. We're a perfect center point of demand and supply. We believe in creating a marketplace for our members, whether digital or physical, and wrap all of that in a very robust regulatory framework. We are there for the first movers. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your patient hearing. I'd like to play the corporate video for you, after which we hand over to the next speaker. Thank you.
Welcome to DMCC. In the heart of Dubai, a business capital with unrivaled access to the world's highest potential economies and infinite possibilities. Our free zone is home to the leading businesses of today and of tomorrow, where over 100,000 people live, work and play in our award-winning community and our new world-class destination, Uptown Dubai. This is a place where innovation transforms ideas into opportunity and networks forge relationships that last. We are also the world's leading commodities hub, a global center for trading. Everything from tea and coffee to gold and diamonds, and so much more. Where ancient trade routes meet a hyper-connected future. To grow your business and reach the world, set up your company in the world's leading free zone and be part of the future of trade.
Sanjeev, thank you so much. Now I would like to invite Fatma Emran, the president of the Turkish Business Council, to get her insight into the topic. Fatma, over to you.
Thank you, Samir. Since this webinar is focusing on Turkey and the Turkish investors, first of all, I would like to share my own perspective, my own experience about the Turkish investors' perspective. Professionally, being in the business of incorporating companies across UAE since 2010, and as a Turkish consultant and partner to Tamimi Consulting, naturally, I have the notion of what in general the Turkish investors are looking for when it comes to have a new establishment in the United Arab Emirates. The main criteria is that the investors, regardless of their industry, are looking for security, confidentiality, reliability, the tax benefits, the well-established legal framework, solid financial and a good banking system, ease of doing business and cost of incorporating and running a business in UAE. And lastly, the political and economical stability. When you compare with other countries in the world that attracts foreign investors, UAE is quite attractive, matching nearly all these criteria. Hence, it is not that difficult to convince an investor to have their new venture in United Arab Emirates. Then immediately the second question comes, where and in which jurisdiction in UAE? One, I can say as per my experience, by far the MCC distinguished itself among the other free zone. Why? Because it's not simply a regulatory body, simply another free zone, but it offers a business environment that caters all an investor can ask for. The MCC has a holistic approach to each and every investor. Once you are in, you have all kinds of services and assistance you may need as a business entity with an easy and direct contact with the authority. That's very important. Having that interaction and the approach and the problem solving makes the investors more comfortable, and accordingly, it will be very easy for them to enhance their operations. In that, it is not a coincidence that DMCC is awarded for the last 5 years in a row the best global fee zone in the world. So for Turkish traders, service companies, technology companies, and others, they prefer and we advise them to operate from DMCC. In this ecosystem, you can easily be in touch with your potential clients and partners. And the authority organizes regular networking events and sectoral clubs which you can meet and get to know each other. So it is not just a place your company is registered, but a business-friendly ecosystem that embraces the member companies. Currently, we see that there are 400 Turkish companies that has chosen DMCC as their host, some of which are the leading brands, globally known companies, and very successful startups. So it's a privilege for us to have DMCC as Turkish Business Council's member and main sponsor since 2013, where Turkish Business Council office space is also provided by DMCC. So we collaborate to increase the number of registered companies in Turkish Business Council and DMCC. And in this respect, I would now pass on to presenting Turkish Business Council briefly to give an insight who we are, what we are doing, our activities, and our role in the United Arab Emirates Business Society. So here, as you can see in this first slide, it clearly says that Turkish Business Council is a non-profit organization established under the roof of Chamber of Commerce in 2004. So now it's been 16 years that the Turkish Business Council is active, up and running. Our offices are in Jumeirah Lake Towers in Gold Tower in the MCC. And by 2020, the Turkish Business Council's members reached 300, corporate and members and individual members together. It is very important to note that Turkish Business Council is the sole entity in United Arab Emirates representing Turkish business community. Turkish Business Council plays a vital role for the private sector and the professionals in the UAE. Can we pass to the next slide, please? So, how to become a member of the Business Council? As I said before, there are 300 members, corporate and individuals. There are separate packages for each individual. So if you are a company owner, regardless of whether we are Turkish or not, a company owner who has an interest to Turkey and the Turkish products, Turkish companies, you can become Business Council's corporate member. It is important to note that 46% of our members, corporate members, are non-Turkish. So those companies who has an interest in Turkey, doing business in Turkey, becomes our partners. We also allow foreign companies who are not established, who are not registered in UAE, to become a member, because by this way they open a door to United Arab Emirates and the GCC region, becoming a member in the Turkish Business Council, and then it is a quite easy step to get into the community itself. And you see the brands and the names of the primary companies, the corporates that are members in the Business Council. So when you become a member in the Business Council, first of all, you get a membership discount card where more than 45 units, you can have very important discounts. Becoming a Business Council member, you have the reach to access to a network and business contacts. There is a members directory, which you will see in the next slide. Each year, the members' profiles and who wants to have an advertisement can have their advertisements on this members directory, which reaches to more than 500 points. Every month, we organize seminars and conferences. We monthly we have newsletters. And this year, in 2020, we started to establish sectoral committees, and first sectoral committee we established is the healthcare committee. So bearing in mind that in this COVID period, it was very helpful to have this healthcare professionals committee where we can easily reach and ask questions or have them and organize seminars and meetings with them. Besides this, of course, we have also social and business events. And also with other business councils, with other nations' business councils, we have close contact. And whenever we want to promote a brand or a corporation who is our member, we come together with the other councils and organize joint events. Can we pass to the next one? So as I mentioned, every year we issue one members directory, and last year it was widely distributed, not only in UAE but also in Turkey. Because in this directory it is very reachable and it is very clear, and you can promote your products, your brand across UAE and Turkey as well. As I noted before, Turkish Business Council is not only for the professionals also, it is also a meeting point for the social events for all the Turkish society. So the National Day celebrations each year are organized by the Turkish Business Council. Apart from that, each year during the trade shows where the Turkish companies are heavily participating, like Big Five, Arab Health, Gulfood, or Jitex, we host the trade delegations, and mostly actually the MCC is hosting them as well in the free zone and giving presentations to them and making familiar with doing business in UAE. Apart from that, we have each month networking events only by the Turkish Business Council, or sometimes, depending on the subject, with other business councils. The seminars, conferences, and online webinars we attend and we organize. And for mutual benefit, we also organize B2B events for those trade delegations coming from Turkey. And under this COVID situation, we are planning to have this B2B events on a virtual platform this year in 2020. And we look forward to have all the Turkish corporations becoming a member of the Business Council, as well as those companies who has interest to Turkey and investing in Turkey. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Fatma. Turkey is indeed one of UAE's largest trading partners, built strong economic ties, and the MCC look forward and taking part in strengthening this relationship. A reminder to everyone, please use the Q&A tab on the bottom of your device to ask you to type your questions, and we'll answer them at the end of the webinar. James Bernard, the head of corporate sales at the MCC, will now discuss in more details about the MCC, member benefits, and new initiatives. James, over to you.
Thanks, Emma. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Fatma. Thanks for joining us today. I don't think we could do it without you and the Turkish Business Council being present. And we're lucky enough because Fatma wears two hats. She's a corporate service provider expert that can answer all your questions on establishing companies, and also the Turkish Business Council hat. So thanks once again. So as my colleague Sanjeev mentioned earlier, we're a government of Dubai authority. We were established back in 2002. And our mandate is to create trade flow throughout Dubai. I'd say first and foremost, we are a free zone regulator, but at the same time, and equally as important, we are a trade facilitator, which you'll see as we go through the slides. And we have a slogan, which is made for trade. DMCC split into 3 different pillars. The first one being Free Zone, which is offering licensing services, company formations, registration, visas, everything you would need to set up and run your company in Dubai in the Free Zone. And secondly, property. So we're a property developer. We're master developer of the Jumeirah Lakes Towers community, which is where DMCC Free Zone is. And we're also supplying leasing services for any companies that need to find property to set up in our Free Zone. And thirdly, as a trade enabler, we offer various services, different platforms and products that help different sectors. And my colleague Sanjeev is going to touch a bit more on that a little bit later on. And all of this is, as Sanjeev also mentioned, encapsulated in a great corporate governance environment, a great regulatory environment, which is so important these days globally. So some of you will know what a free zone is, special economic zone, free zone, whatever you want to call it. They have different properties throughout the world. In Dubai, the standard case is 0% income tax, 100% business ownership, and 100% repatriation of capital and profits. So the 0% income tax is important, and Fatma can touch on this if anyone has any questions, because the UAE has over 100 different dual taxation treaties with countries around the world. And I know that Turkey is one country that can benefit from dual taxation through establishments with BV companies, with a BV company through the Netherlands. So that's also something which is really interesting to maybe discuss with Fatma later on. So at the moment, we realize it's a really tough environment out there. There's been a lot of companies that have had a lot of problems just getting to do work, getting their staff to work, setting up companies, renewing licenses, all these types of things. So we've gone a step further in terms of digitizing all of our business, and now we have 100% of our services online. So you can set up your company. If you're looking to set up a new company now, you can set up online. And if you want to renew your license, visas, everything like that, you can also do this online. We also have several packages, business support packages. We offer up to 50% reduction on new company setups at the moment. And we also have a 30% reduction package on licensed companies, existing licensed companies who are renewing. So this is a picture of Jumeirah Lakes Towers back in 2002. And you can see the same Jumeirah Lakes Towers now with all the development. So, as I said earlier, I mentioned earlier, there are several free zones globally in Dubai and within the UAE. So why DMCC? As was mentioned earlier, we've been lucky enough to be the winner of the Free Zone of the Year by the Financial Times FDI magazine for the last 5 years. So we kind of substantiate our claim of being the best free zone in the world for SMEs, startups, mid-sized companies, multinationals. We're also something that's often mentioned to me, a trusted partner to our member companies. So it's really important to know that you're going to bear the branding of your partner, your free zone partner, when you establish a company. And having those 4 letters after your name, DMCC, is incredibly powerful and very, very trusted. So it will put you in good steads for business relationships throughout the UAE and globally. We're also located in the heart of Dubai, which is a great area for living, working, your family environment. And we're connected both the airport and to the ports, and to Jebel Ali by 2 metro stations. As I mentioned earlier, one of the main advantages of DMCC is us enabling trade through our platforms, through our networking, through all of the series of knowledge services that we give also. One of the advantages of DMCC, and one of the value adds that we concentrate a lot on, is the business connections. We realize that companies come into the Middle East, they're looking for partners, trading partners, they're looking for customers, they're looking for suppliers. So we connect you with all of our existing businesses. As was mentioned earlier, we have 17,000 companies in DMCC with about 60,000 people employed by those companies. So these are all potential clients, potential customers of yours. We do this through various networking groups. We do this through various industry clubs, and we have international partners, and we work closely with the business consuls, business councils and business groups, such as Turkish Business Group, Business Council. We also have a great online business directory where you can find all the other companies in the free zone. And we have several incubators, so companies looking in to come and work in a environment where there are other companies around doing similar growth, similar training, similar education. We have 3 different incubator accelerators within the free zone. We have Astrolabs, Google for Startups. We have Nook, which is life and health. And we have the latest one, which is CV Labs, which is Crypto Valley DMCC. So some of our value-added services that we offer, we realize that you come into the country and you won't know what products and services you need in order to set up your company and operate. So we have already done the shopping around for you. We've used our buying power to get the best rates for you. And we've qualified all of the companies that we team up with to give you these great services, whether it's a corporate service, a corporate credit card, a business package, property brokerage, company stamp, our visa services, recruitment packages. We can direct you to our partner companies where you get the best service. So some statistics on our free zone. We have around 170 different nationalities represented in the free zone, in about 17,000 plus different companies. As I mentioned, 60,000 employees from those companies, and around 100,000 people living and working within the free zone. We contribute to Dubai's GDP by around 10%. And one thing that's important for you is, how are you going to stay in the country? How's your family going to stay here? And I always say that UAE, the Dubai, it's one of the easiest visas to get and one of the easiest visas to maintain online. So once you set up your company, you'll have a licensed activity. You can then apply for visas for yourself and for your dependents. And the only condition of this is that you're in the country at least every 6 months. This slide represents the different business sectors, just a sort of small mention of different business sectors and business activities that we've added recently. We have over 950 different business activities from different sectors, and choosing the right business activity for your company is very important. We have recently added new sectors to this as the world changes. As Sanjeev mentioned earlier, digitization is becoming extremely important. Blockchain, crypto, all of these types of educational, digitization, telehealth, these need to be updated in terms of activities, and we support this as a free zone. So we keep adding different business sectors, and we pretty much have a business sector and business activity for any activity, any company that's out there. So leading on from that, we recently started our latest project, which is Crypto Valley DMCC. It's an ecosystem. It's a surrounding ecosystem, which in the middle has a incubator accelerator, which is focused on blockchain, cryptographic, and distributed ledger technologies. These are all the latest buzzwords I know, and many companies are getting involved in this. And what we want to do is provide that landing platform for any companies that are looking to locate in a hub that presents opportunities for them, presents actual business environments where they can get work either from the government, private sector, And we're working with our partners from CV Labs and CVVC, who have already shown success in the crypto valley of Switzerland. So we plan to launch this going forward in July, August of this year. And we're also working with the different regulators of the UAE in order to make sure that we have those licensed business activities that represent this industry from blockchain to crypto assets and DLT. So we have member companies from 170 different countries. As you can see here, it's made up of quite a variety of different countries. India being a large proportion of these, United Kingdom, Egypt. We have some of the world's largest leading brands, as you can see here. Very diverse sectors, from motorcycles to white labeled goods to mining, trading, drinks, diamonds. And on here, we show you a few statistics which Fatma touched on. We have somewhere around 367 Turkish nationals which are working for free zone companies, and we have somewhere around 371 Turkish member companies. I say somewhere around because obviously we're licensing a lot of companies every month, so this figure, with the help of Fatma and team and our other Turkish representatives, keeps increasing, luckily. So hopefully that will be the same today as well. On the right, you can see here we have the Turkish Business Council. They are located in the DMCC free zone as well as these other recognizable brands that we're proud to have. As I mentioned earlier, we're also a property developer, so our latest project is Uptown Dubai. We're building a 10 million square feet experience, a project which is connected to the Jumeirah Lakes Towers, the DMCC free zone, which will add a different experience to the member companies and also facilitate the need that the growing number of member companies and our community, as that grows, this will give them the space that's required for them to really move into and provide all of the services that people need these days on another level. So I'm now going to hand back to Sanjeev, who will talk about DMCC's platforms and our offerings across various different industry sectors. Thank you, Sanjeev.
Sanjeev, if you unmute yourself, please.
Yes, I did unmute myself and someone muted me. And I'm like, what happened? No, but thanks a lot. So as I mentioned in the beginning, the few snippets: made for trade, sustainable trade, marketplace, physical infrastructure, electronic digital platforms. All of that is what I'll talk about in the next 5 to 7 minutes. So the way we are structured for commodities and financial services is, we've got these verticals, of which the first is agri-softs. And within that vertical, we've tried to create an ecosystem for tea and now coffee. So what do we do at the tea center? So we have a physical 24,000 square meter infrastructure, which can do everything but grow the tea leaf. And I know Turkey has a very, very dominant tea industry over there. I've got some very, very of my dearest friends from the Turkish tea industry. So at the tea center, we have packed over 200 brands and handled over 53 million kilos a year, that kind of capacity. And since inception, we would have handled over 500 million kilos of tea. Now, we are capable of packing teas in any format, multi-origin blending, storage, so it's a one-stop shop really. And all the large industry players, rely and collaborate with us. And we can easily claim to have been very instrumental in underlining UAE's position as the world's largest and the leading re-exporter of tea with up to a 60% market share. Now, with the tea center having achieved much of that success over the last 15 years since it was established in 2005, we decided to build a coffee center. And The coffee center is the same size. We built it in less than a year. State-of-the-art green bean storage facility, one of the best in the region, with a state-of-the-art roasting line and with several packing facilities. It's got batch roasting, mini roasting, and large size roasting. It's got an institute to train baristas. And of course, it's a one-stop shop in terms of an ecosystem because it has flexible office space solutions as well, depending on the size of the business. So it's never a one-size-fits-all, but a highly customized setup. It can, and we foresee the coffee center handling some 20 million kilos of beans during the first few years of its operation. Change, again, is the only constant, as I mentioned, and we will keep adding and modifying according to our members' needs, starting from potential exploration of our coffee futures on our Dubai Gold and Commodities Exchange, which I'll talk about, to having coffee auctions, which is a physical element of the trade, and name it. Takes me to my next exciting vertical, which is precious metals and stones. Now, very quickly, what is our precious metals ecosystem? So we are considered as a center of excellence and subject matter experts in the realm of precious metals. And we contributed effectively to the increase in Dubai's gold trade from some $41 billion in 2010 to over $76 billion in 2019. Quite an achievement. So the ecosystem encompasses our Dubai Good Delivery accreditation standard, a large refinery grid, a large precious metals vault, the trade flow platform, which I will talk about as part of our electronic offering, the UAE bullion coins to mark the leaders of the UAE. We are going aggressive on that one because we believe it's been in existence and has a lot of scope to offer. Bullion dealers, jewelry manufacturers and wholesalers, and an entire ecosystem being completed by our Dubai Gold and Commodities Exchange, which also I will speak about. We are relied upon by the UAE government for strategic inputs and directives from time to time. And we're working on several projects for the government. Strategic engagements such as with international stakeholders, such as the OECD, the World Gold Council, the Shanghai Gold Exchange. Again, the Shanghai Gold Exchange launched its first gold futures outside of China on the DGCX, highly successful. And various Indian associations all form part of the precious metals ecosystem. Which brings me to the next bit, which is our precious stones ecosystem. So we are home to the Dubai Diamond Exchange, which is the global gateway for diamond trade. Now, after DNCC's launch in 2002 and its focus on diamonds, Dubai is now the second largest diamond trading center, soon to be the largest, in the world with import and export of $21 billion worth of rough and polished diamonds in the year 2019 versus virtually zero about 20 years ago, i.e. 1999. We manage the Kimberley process on behalf of the UAE Ministry of Economy, and our current chairman and chief executive officer, His Excellency Ahmed bin Salem, has been the KP chair for 2016 and widely acclaimed for his inputs to the industry, both upstream and downstream. The precious stones ecosystem encompasses the DDE, which I've just mentioned, and the Diamond Exchange regularly hosts international tenders and auctions for both rough and for polished. It will soon have tenders for colored gemstones and pearls, and the infrastructure we're building is also for lab-grown diamonds. Now, in terms of numbers, in 2019, we did in excess of $300 million worth tenders and auctions. Now, our geographic position and connectivity is forging the new Silk Route. And first direct flights between Surat, which is the world's largest diamond cutting and polishing center, and India to Dubai has enhanced our trading volumes. We then move into the events. So we hold state-of-the-art events for each industry. Now for tea, we host the Global Dubai Tea Forum, which is a marquee event for the precious metals industry. We hold the Dubai Precious Metals Conference, again widely acclaimed, and for precious stones, we are custodians of the Dubai Diamond Conference. And during the last Diamond Conference, we launched the Dubai Design Academy. Now, the Design Academy is developing multi-skilled workforce for the jewelry industry, which will provide sustainable business capabilities to entrepreneurs. So what is the concept which completes the ecosystem? It's think, design, develop, and trade. It's a new industry career for school graduates with employment opportunity. It's created a guided path for digital transformation of the jewelry industry in the areas of manufacturing, designing, both retail and wholesale. So the idea is to create a launchpad and incubate these talented professionals and create a brand Dubai out of it. So our final target for the Dubai Design Academy is to develop Dubai and therefore the United Arab Emirates as a jewelry design capital of the world. And we, as DMCC, will be a world leader in developing the strong base for the jewelry industry. So that pretty much gives you an idea of the physical infrastructure. I'll quickly move to the electronic platforms I talked about, the Dubai Gold and Commodities Exchange, which is the largest derivatives exchange in the region, launched in 2005, and in terms of value, does in excess of 23 million contracts a year and over $400 billion in terms of, notional value. It's got currency pairs, it's launched several kinds of futures, and some of which have been really well received, including but not limited to the INR pair as well as the Shanghai Gold futures. The next electronic platform is the DMCC Trade Flow platform, again, launched initially as a Dubai Commodity Receipt platform and has evolved through years of research and hard work into a state-of-the-art, highly customizable DMCC Trade Flow platform, which is capable of doing both retail and wholesale transactions across conventional finance as well as Sharia compliant transactions. Now, in terms of volumes, again, we are in excess of $100 billion on that platform, and we have positioned ourselves very successfully and strategically into the perfect option between the LME receipt and the Bursa Malaysia receipt. In terms of geographic outreach, our platform is used as far as Malaysia in the east and Kenya, the CIS countries, together with the UAE as our country of domicile, and the wider Middle East and the GCC. Last but not the least, we're building a forwards platform in the agri space in order to better price discover and offer greater value right from the farmer in terms of offering him or her the ability to repay loans and lead a better life, and also for the consumer in ensuring they don't have to worry about buying crop at astronomical prices. So that project should be launched in the next couple of months. We wrap all of this in a robust regulatory framework, as I mentioned. I talked about the Dubai Good Delivery when I was talking about the precious metals ecosystem. And last but not the least, sustainability, which is high on our agenda. We are one of the very few free zones to have shortlisted a few of those relevant sustainable development goals, especially considering the commodities we deal in, either precious metal, stones, mines to retailers, or in the agri space, tea, coffee, where it's more about crop to cup. And we are one of the very, very few free zones to have published our sustainability report 2 years in a row, and the third year to be out very soon. So that's what I tried to pack in terms of the commodities and the financial services ecosystem. Over to you, James. Thank you.
Thanks, Sanjeev. Back to you, Sama. I think we're on to the Q&A now.
Yeah, great. Thank you, Sanjeev, James, Fatma. Now we've got 15 minutes here. I've got a couple of questions. We'll start with the first one. I think this one for you, James. What are the options for startups and entrepreneurs? Are there any different packages that the MCC can offer?
Well, yes. Now's an extremely good time. As I mentioned earlier, we have a couple of packages that we're offering now, business support packages. So we have one which is basically 50% off at the moment. So that is one option for startups and entrepreneurs. I also mentioned that we have a couple of incubators, accelerators in DMCC that we're partnered up with. So depending on your business activity, you could also look at those for a potential setup as well. And of course, the CV labs that I mentioned as well. So if it's something to do with cryptographic activities or blockchain, then that may be suitable for you as well. But I'd say to go onto our website, we have everything there, or to drop us an email. You will be getting an email from us later anyway. So it should have all those contact details on, and we can update you from that on. But the basic package now is at 50% reduction for, I think, now up until August. So it's a very good time to be setting up.
Great, thank you, James. We've got another one here between you and Fatma. Due to the travel ban, some of the visa holders are away from UAE for more than 6 months. What should they do? Will the visa be still valid for them or their first visit after the COVID-19?
Do you want me to respond to that?
Yeah, please, if you don't mind.
Because of having so many clients and they all have this common problem, we have been communicating with the amortization, with the immigration about this, and then received an email that after 1st of March, those investors who has the residence visa and has to come each 6 months, their entry permits, their visa validities are extended until 31st of December. So we are passing that mail to our clients and whoever is asking. So I can pass the same email to you as a evidence.
That's
So
great.
it is, so everybody can come once, of course, the flights are open. Then they come, and it is extended until it's valid until 31st of December. That's what we know.
Great, thank you. Sanjeev, we've got one for you here. UAE and Turkey are on the opposite sides politically for a few years recently. Do you think this create problems in trade relation between Dubai and Turkey?
Sorry, I lost half your question. I'm sorry, Samer, you were breaking off.
Of course. Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can.
Perfect. UAE and Turkey are at the opposite side politically for a few years recently. And do you think this creates a problem in trade relations between Dubai and Turkey?
Well, it all depends on the specifics of the case. You always have your geopolitics, you have your political problems, but when it comes to specific commodities and specific trade, then those things are viewed very differently. Because at the end of the day, bilateral trade relations are also in force between the two countries and in good magnitude.
Great, Fatma, do you have anything here to add?
The politics and the commercial relations, the trade relations are separate. When we discuss this on the ambassador or on the consulate level or so. So these are two separate issues and separate topics, which does not affect each other, especially in Dubai. Dubai is totally concentrated on the trade relations, on the commerce and everything. So it is not an issue for both parties and investors.
How would you what sort of advice would you give to Turkish companies and individuals who are looking to Dubai? What's the sort of Turkish community like?
As I said, actually, we first actually to be arm's length, actually, to give the full picture. And very frankly, I have to put in front of all the investors the whole picture. Okay, I just don't take that by hand and bring that to the MCC. Okay, I just show who is offering what, so that because these investors who already decided to make an investment outside UAE, they are smart enough to make their own assessment as well from their business perspective. Okay, so I lead them to think about it, but giving the insights. At the end of the day, this would be their decision with the information I give to them. That's why I give them the pros and cons, which is better for what purposes, and based on that, they make their own decision. So the unique selling point for the MCC is actually, nobody's very caring about this, but there are office spaces whom you can directly rent from the landlords, which actually in the world people are used to this. So you go to the landlord and you negotiate on the market rate. And if the next year the rents are lower, then you negotiate and you have the market rate as well. In most of the zones, since the setup, the regulatory bodies have designed in such a way that the free zones offices are belonging to the free zone authority itself. That's why I don't want to say trapped, but at the end of the day, the free zone authority dictates the prices. So it is not the landlord, each and every individual or private landlord, that you negotiate on the market rate. So that's cons, it's not a pros. So I put this in front of. And then that's another part is the logistics, the distribution center, being near to an airport or being to a port, like the Jebel Ali port. So that's also another thing that they need to decide. But here, what I can say very clearly is that since the MCC's establishment, the MCC has invested so much from the beginning to this online and digital, the portal, that through the years, because you cannot just decide one day to go on a portal online and the next day it functions. It requires really an experience and ongoing enhancements and working on it. So you have to invest a lot through the years. So fortunately, the MCC just started from the beginning and adding on top of it. That's why I can clearly say from my experience, through the years, the MCC became in the leader. You are on the front part. So the others who were much more experienced perhaps, but started this digitalization and online and portal thing afterwards, has more to cover, more steps to go forward. So these are my main things I put forward in front of the clients. But again, the last word is the investors. They own decisions. I always respect.
Of course, thank you, Fatma. We've got another one here. Actually, we got 3 more questions, and we still got 7 minutes. Do you have any special groups in Turkish Business Council in terms of business lines other than the healthcare professionals? Fatma, I guess this is for you.
Yes, actually, the first group was the healthcare professionals. They were already a gathered group, so we just transferred them. However, the just next to it would be the HR professionals. You won't believe that in UAE, there are more than hundreds or so Turkish professionals who are working in international companies as HR, in the HR departments. There are the professionals, individuals. So bearing in mind that the most important thing nowadays to have a solid job and a career. So this would be the second group that we should be making it active. And then the others come. You will not be surprised that the Turkish people are like to be gathering groups. So there are all actually already ready groups for this kind of sectoral groups, let's say. So, for example, the finance group is there. There are the universities alumni groups. So, but we prefer to proceed with the HR, which is very, very important for the Turkish society and for everybody.
Thank you, Fatma. James, we've got one for you here. Can I open a company or branch without visiting Dubai?
Yes, you can. In the MCC, yes, you can. Yes, we do it.
Go ahead, Fatma.
Yes, we do it without being present, and even during the COVID period, the MCC has new implications to make it even easier with Zoom conferences, verifications, and everything. So your presence is not mandatory; is not required to completely set up a company in the MCC.
Yeah,
and we can even do a transfer of incorporation as well. Which is really useful for any company that wants to keep its history.
James, on this as well, I guess this applies for anyone around the world?
Yep. pretty much in all jurisdictions that it doesn't make much difference as long as you can get the documents that are required in the correct format that we require and the government requires. Fatima is obviously an expert at it, doing it pretty much every day. But you can set up completely digitally, and the documents that we require, the physical documents we require, can be couriered.
Great, thank you, James. Sanjeev, we got here last questions. We got 4 minutes. What are the benefits of the Turkish companies to expand to the world from DMCC?
I mean, it all again depends on the industry sector. I mean, if you're looking at tea, it'll have one set of advantages and the package. Again, when there's a delegation of companies wanting to join, we devise separate group packages for you. Currently, you know, due to the circumstances we are in, we've got 50% for new company registration. It all really depends, you know. If you're doing larger volumes, we can, you know, benefit you. So there's so many. I mean, one answer will not be enough for all the questions. So if you write to me separately about what exact you're looking for in terms of specifics, you know, I can, you know, line them up for you.
Of course. Thank you, Sanjeev. We got one more here, which is good. Can I bid to any government agency or commercial companies who are located outside the free zone?
This is really an old question, and it's to do with mainly government agencies who put out tenders for doing business. So it's really up to those individual agencies whether they would accept a DMCC free zone license. Private and government companies are also very different. You need to check with the actual company or government agency that's putting the tender out to check that, because some of them do have requirements, specific requirements. But these days it has opened up. It's a lot more easy to get involved than it was before.
Great, thank you, James. Fatma, any final words from your side before we end? We got 30 seconds.
Oh, I'd like to say thank you to Fatma, the Turkish Business Council, for joining and making our event. I'd like to welcome all of the interest from the Turkish people that have joined us today, and just thank you to everyone.
So do I. So I thank you for all the participants listening us, and also the MCC, James, Sanjay, and Samir, all of you, to make this happen. This will continue with specific sector-specific seminars through this period, I hope. Thank you very much.
Sanjeev, would you like to add anything?
I mean, thank you. Thank you is the only word that comes to mind.
Great. This was indeed a very insightful session. DMCC is a global destination, a gateway for trade. DMCC is home to over 17,000 companies and over 100,000 people that live and work and thrive from here, which 367 are Turkish companies, and we look forward having you as part of our DMCC community. Thank you all to all our esteemed speakers and distinguished guests for joining us today. We hope you enjoyed this session. If any of your questions have not been answered the way you want, or you have any more questions, please reach out directly to James Bernard, or to Fatma or to Sanjeev. All their contact details will be shared on the presentation post-webinar. We look forward having you all our upcoming webinars that is related to Turkey. If you wanna keep eyes on that, please visit and register on dmcc.ae/events. Thank you again for joining, and have a nice day.